Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that's happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So, not a terrible, exciting week of stuff. We have a couple things to talk about. One thing I think is actually pretty interesting in relation to ZAP Dragonzord. Also, I'm feeling a little bit better. Still not 100%. We're just, tugging it along here. Is that even a word? I don't know. We're just trying. So, here's Lightning Storm. So first up for this week, we have Deluxe Wave 1, which I was told from a couple different people this past week that not only has it started to show up in the UK, although I'm not 100% sure of what retailer in the UK it was popping up at least it was in some capacity in the UK. I also saw some people I think were charged from I want to say, maybe In-Demand Toys, I think. Someone else was charged for this wave as well, from the UK. It's also out in Canada, apparently. I've seen some pictures of Piranha's Head on Facebook from Canada, and also I've seen more pictures of the Galaxy Glider within Space Blue from the UK. But the point of the matter is, Deluxe Wave 1 is starting to be out in more places other than just Australia, which is where we saw it last month. And so hopefully we will see it here in the US relatively soon. It was kind of listed as a February release. I mean, technically, the pre-orders have it listed as a November 2022 release, which, no. So, we're waiting for them to actually just show up here. It kind of seemed like for a second that GameStop in the US was going to have them here pretty soon, and that just didn't really happen. So, same thing with Entertainment Earth. I think they've changed theirs to April at this point, so we'll see. I imagine we'll probably see this wave for the next month or so. Or, now that I say this, I'll probably post this episode and someone will find it immediately after. People might already have, actually, because I think there's an eBay listing for it, that's based out of New York or something, which I'm not exactly sure how that works. I don't know if that's an import from Canada or the UK or even Australia or something, or if that's an actual US sighting. Who knows, but this wave should be out here hopefully soon. And I'm very interested to see if there's more consistent problems with the Galaxy Glider. It's a little hard to see on the picture, but I do believe that the X on the Galaxy Glider is something that has continued to happen on these further releases of it. I don't think we have a Lunar Wolf situation on our hands where some are actually shipping correctly, but then again, we could just wait and see what happens with the US releases, if there actually will be some without the X on the glider and actually have the weird envelope shape that it's supposed to be, or if they're going to all be X's. I imagine all X's, but honestly, I have no idea at this point. It could be either or, so we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said earlier, hopefully we'll see Deluxe Wave 1 released in the United States here pretty soon. So I'm not going to cover this one for too long because I did kind of give it its own dedicated Lightning Storm episode a couple of days ago, but that Power Pop Art 4-pack on Walmart is still up if you'd like to pre-order that. But kind of the big part of it that I want to talk about, because I didn't post an episode of Lightning Storm last Saturday, so this is one of the things I would have covered last weekend, which, sorry I didn't get one out. But basically, people are still receiving the Power Pop Art variants from Hasbro Customer Care by complaining about the pink torso problem on the GameStop 2-pack, which is not an actual problem to complain about, in my opinion. It is. It's definitely a valid thing that is wrong with the figure, but people are just trying to get Hasbro to send them the Comic-Con 2-pack for free. That's where I have an issue with it. But basically, a lot of people are getting Power Pop Art variants instead, so we talked about a couple weeks ago that Dino Fury Red was given out, which was the first time we ever saw any one of those in hand at all. And then last week we actually saw one for Dino Charge Pink. Someone on Facebook has claimed that they got the Zeo Cog and actually provided the barcode for the Zeo Cog Power Pop Art variant, which was the first time we had been able to see that. Of course, funnily enough, we haven't been able to see any Power Pop Art variants out in the wild for Lunar Wolf, which is definitely something we are wanting to see and trying to see, because we're trying to see if that one is also going to have a 5-stripe and a 6-stripe variant. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it just picks one and goes with it. Fingers crossed for the 6-stripe, but it's just funny to me that the one that we would really need to see how it turned out is the one we just have not seen yet. I'm sure probably somebody has been sent that one if the other 3 have been sent via Hasbro Customer Care stuff. I just haven't seen anybody report on it yet, so keeping an eye out for that. If anybody has received one, DM me on Twitter or send me a message on Facebook. I would love to know which version of it you got, because I'm very curious. So heading back over to Canada for this next story, I have some upcoming Lightning Collection item price points to talk about. So this was something I was shared to by one of my sources a couple of weeks ago, and I just didn't get a chance to record Lightning Storm last weekend, so because I wasn't feeling well, so it would have been in last week's, but here it is in this week. So this source was very kind to send me this information. Now granted, I'm not 100% sure if this is at the distributor level in terms of the price point. I'm not sure if this is going to be like the price that they will go up for Canadian consumers, or like I said, if this was like a distributor price point that like stores can order it at. So just take the prices with a little bit of a grain of salt. They're definitely one of those two options. They're either distributor or consumer. I just don't know which one. So basically we have price points for a couple of unreleased or unannounced Lightning Collection items, including the ZAP Dragonzord, which we're going to talk about again here in a couple of minutes for another reason. We also have the Red Ranger Power Sword, the Blue Ranger Power Lance, the Blue Ranger Helmet, and also the Tenga Warrior 2-pack. So the Blue Ranger Helmet is listed at $96.95, with the ZAP Dragonzord listed at $142.75. And of course, remember once again that these are Canadian prices, so convert that however you will to USD. It will probably not give you the most accurate representation. I'm expecting somewhere around $100 for the Blue Ranger Helmet here in the United States, and I'm expecting somewhere around $120 for Dragonzord here in the United States whenever these are officially revealed and put up for pre-order. But there's at least the Canadian possible prices for them there. Heading over to the power weapons, we have the Red Ranger Power Sword at $229 and the Blue Ranger Power Lance at $145.95. So yeah, that's about what I was expecting. I'm expecting somewhere around $200 for the Power Sword here in the United States, and somewhere around $130-ish maybe for the Power Lance whenever those come out here. They're going to be very expensive, and granted, I heard some pretty astronomical prices around those two, actually, pretty much $200 and $130 months ago, which was before the kind of price increases, so I'm not really sure how that affected that, if it did at all. I'm terrified of what they're going to cost, especially after things like the Lord Draken helmet being revealed for $132. That terrified me. I was not expecting that one to be so expensive. So I can't even imagine exactly what the Power Sword and Power Lance are going to end up being. I just really hope Hasbro shows them to us soon enough so we can finally just get the pre-order in and get it over with. And then finally, we have the Tenga Warrior 2-pack that I first told you guys about back in December for $51.25. So while everything else is pretty self-explanatory, you can pretty much guess exactly what it's going to look like, what a Power Sword's going to look like, what a Blue Ranger helmet's going to look like. But this Tenga Warrior 2-pack, I still don't know what exactly this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be just two straight-up re-releases of the Wave 9 Tenga. It could be, I mean, obviously it's probably going to be something similar to that, but I'm just curious about like what's going to make this different in terms of accessories or possible paint applications or whatever, but just to know that is something that is coming. So, like I said earlier, these are all Canadian prices, so please keep that in mind. These are not the United States prices for these, but they're probably somewhere in the ballpark of what we're going to have to pay for them. And I have no idea when any of this stuff is going to be revealed. I'm hoping we finally get some kind of proper Fan First Friday sometime soon, because we also are overdue at this point for Wave 12's announcement. That should have probably happened back in February. It's now the end of March. Technically, we could still get one. I mean, I'm terrified if we get an April 1st Fan First Friday, because, like, what are they going to, like, what, could you even imagine how, like, what's the word, cringy that the bits could be during an April 1st Fan First Friday? I don't even want that to be a possibility, but we'll see. But basically, we have a lot of stuff for them to announce with everything I just listed off, and also, of course, Wave 12, and other stuff too, like Deluxe Wave 2, and things like that, even though I still think it's maybe a little early for Deluxe Wave 2, although we're getting close to it not being early, so we'll see if they're ready to announce that one or not. But yeah, basically, these things are still coming. Those are some Canadian price points for them, and hopefully we see them all very soon. And speaking of seeing them all very soon, we can at least see some of one of them, which is the ZAP Dragonzord. So I told you guys a long time ago that a ZAP Dragonzord was coming. I've talked about it for numerous different months and times. This one's weird though, how this was leaked. So yesterday I shared a picture of the Mega Dragonzord combination, which of course you're probably seeing on screen right now, of the Zord Ascension Project Dragonzord placed on top of the Zord Ascension Project Megazord. Now this picture comes from, there was like this Hasbro presentation that was a private event only held by like store owners and I think maybe investors and stuff like that. It was definitely not a public event. This was something that occurred back in February, and they showed off a slide talking about Dino Fury toys and fandom items, which the only fandom item they talked about, which is basically just Lightning Collection, was the ZAP Dragonzord, and all they showed was just this one picture. Now, I had heard about this event. I was told that ZAP Dragonzord was shown off there, but I was not given any pictures or anything besides that. But then, somehow, this event was just leaked online on this, like, video sharing website. I have no idea how this or where this came from. I first saw it on 4chan, to be perfectly honest with you. And so I was able to look at it, screenshot it. There you go. So that is a picture of the Mega Dragonzord combination, which, I mean, is pretty self-explanatory. It's not the greatest look at the ZAP Dragonzord. It's definitely a render. It's definitely not like an actual physical version of it. But it does confirm that it's going to be able to combine with the Megazord, even though I was pretty confident of that anyway. I would imagine it can do the warrior mode as well, where it replaces the Tyrannosaurus and Pterodactyl in the middle. I love that combination. That's my favorite combination of Season 1, personally, besides the Ultra Zord, so I really hope that we can do that combination. I don't see why we couldn't, but, you know, who knows. We also can't see in this picture, like, the chest piece or the tail, or if it's going to come with, like, the piece for the staff. I'm sure that it will. I can't think of a Dragonzord that really doesn't have that, so I'm sure that it can. We just haven't seen any pictures of it or anything like that. We're not even supposed to see this picture. So who knows when they're going to reveal it, but like I said, this was shown off during some kind of Hasbro private event last month, which means they're, you know, at least saying it privately. I would imagine it's somewhat close to them or ready for them to announce publicly. It's, as far as I'm aware, it's supposed to come out in August, with the Megazord out in July, so I don't know, guys. I really don't know. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below on what you think of the combination, how it looks. I know some people were bothered by some of the proportions on it, and I don't think it's, like, the most perfect representation of this combination, but, I mean, I think it does the job. I just want to see what the other combinations are going to look like. What is nice about this combination, though, is that this is the one you need to put it into to then add Titanus pieces to make the full-on Ultra Zord. So, I'm hoping that we get a Titanus. I have personally not heard any information on a Titanus. I haven't heard anything from any of my sources or seen any indication that that is actually happening, but maybe it will. For sure, definitely Dragonzord. That is definitely happening. Obviously, you know, picture of it here. But besides that, and after that, I don't really have any idea of what's coming to the Zord Ascension Project. And hopefully we don't get an NFT version, like special edition, to go along with the Dragonzord. That will royally piss me off. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I mean, I don't think Hasbro's learned their lesson, but, like, who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this. And like I said, I really like to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think of the Dragonzord so far from this one picture, and also the fact that it can combine. Does this turn you off to the Dragonzord? Does this turn you off to the whole Zord Ascension project, now that you can see the two of them together? Or just whatever you want to say about it, I want to hear it. Alright, well, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Lightning Storm. It's definitely starting to strain my voice a little bit here, so I'm going to go rest some more. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. More videos are coming to the channel. I'm working on some stuff here. And of course, until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And I'll see you all in Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice. See y'all later.